Hey everyone, it's Julia Kelling again, talking to you a little bit about editing this week. Um, First of all, welcome to my home. You're sitting in my kitchen. That's because I don't know if you can see behind me, but I actually have rice cooking on the stove right now. I have bread rising on the countertop, very quick and easy recipes because I'm trying to make it to the end of the work week without doing any major lifting in terms of cooking. So you'll have to forgive me. But I do live in a New York studio apartment, so the space that I recorded my video last week is actually not that far away from my kitchen. It's all one gigantic room. So welcome to the glamorous life of being an author in New York. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about editing since I know I talked about my novella last week, and I can give you a little bit of insight into what I do and what works for me. So, first of all, you need a glass of wine because I think this is a vital part of editing. When I write, rather, I go through and write a very quick first draft. And in the past, I've not gone back and looked at that first draft. I've just powered through to the end. This time around, I actually did something a little different. I kind of think of my manuscript in terms of four acts, like four acts in a play. And I would stop at the end of each act and reread what I'd written. And I really try not to make any major changes to it unless something is dramatically different from how I initially envisioned the characters. The reason I've been doing that is because I like to give myself a heads up of where I started in terms of character development. Since it is a romance novel, it's very character heavy, not very plot heavy. And then I like to make sure that I am progressing in a logical manner towards the end. And by the time that I finished the book, there were some minor changes that I made to the characters, although not many major ones. And that's because I used a pretty fantastic character arc system that I'll talk about at another time. But I want to make sure when I go back and do my second draft that I'm not only filling in setting and emotion, because those are the things that don't come as naturally to me. I'm a TV producer, so I tend to write in dialogue and I tend to think as people would speak. So I go through and I add those, and then I also make sure that my characters make sense. And as much as anybody who's in love and in a romantic relationship acts as a rational person, I want my characters to act in a rational manner. So that's the second draft, and that's kind of what I just dealt with this last few weeks. And now I'm into the third draft in the manuscript, which is important for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is the draft that I use to make sure that my manuscript is in some sort of shape that a beta reader could take a look at it and not be completely confused by what they're seeing. So I'm looking to make sure that sentence construction looks good, grammar looks good, all the silly spelling mistakes are out, everybody's name is consistent throughout the book, which can be surprisingly difficult to double check. When you're handling, 250, 300, 400 pages of material. The other thing that I'm really looking at is fine-tuning the language, really going through with a fine-tooth comb, and if I have a sentence that it sounds good, but I know it could be better, this is the point in time where I'm really making those changes. So what I typically do is I've already gone through and hand-edited everything because I do, use the traditional red pen, and I actually keep, I don't know if you can see here, I keep the book in a binder. I want to have a paper copy because I'm very paranoid about losing all my backups digitally. So I do like to go old school and have a paper copy in a binder. So this paper copy is actually all marked up, and I'll go through. Once those markups are entered into my actual digital copy, I'll start to go through and really, really look at those sentences and read through and make the changes that I think I need to make, and then go back through and reread what I've just read through, make sure that everything really sounds tight and looks good. Because again, I want somebody who's looking at this manuscript for the first time to not have to sit there and think to themselves, okay, what did Julia mean to say when she said this? I really want them to be focusing on the character and the stories and the emotional conflict and whether you really could see these two people falling in love. So that's kind of my method. Once I finish this up, I'll send it off to some beta readers, some wonderful beta readers who are very, very kind to me and have looked at some of my things before. And then once that's all wrapped up, I get edits back, and it's time to get the manuscript in shape to show my agent. So that's sort of the plan right now, and that's where I am. I'm very curious to hear what you guys do in terms of editing your own things. I always think it's interesting to get some insight into how other writers write and how other writers work because everybody is a little different. So please let me know. I would love to see comments on this blog. I love feedback on Facebook. I'm a big social media person, so you can find me by looking up the author page under pages, search for Julia Kelly. And on Twitter, I'm at @the_Julia_Kelly. All this is on my contact page also on the blog. So I really hope you guys will reach out. I love talking and I love being a resource also. So good luck with your own writing, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.